Have you ever poured your heart and soul into creating something amazing for your website, only for it to just vanish into the digital void? It's a feeling so many business owners know all too well. Today, we're going to break down how you can turn your website from a hidden gem into a powerful asset that actually goes out and finds you new customers. All right, let's get into it. So let me start with a question that might hit a little too close to home. You've invested your time, your energy, your expertise into building this great website. But can anyone actually find it? When your brilliant work is invisible to the very people who need it most, it's like a silent killer for your business. And this is where it gets so frustrating, right? You're sharing your knowledge, you publish these helpful articles, but they get buried on page 5 or 10, maybe even 20 of Google's search results. And all the while, you see your competitors sitting pretty right there on page 1, and you're just left wondering what's the magic trick they're calling that you're not. Let's just give this a name. We'll call it the invisibility problem. It's that feeling of shouting into a void, knowing you have the answers, but being pretty sure no one can actually hear you. But here's the really good news. The difference between you and those top-ranking competitors, it usually isn't about luck, and it's not always about having some massive marketing budget. The secret, the actual learnable skill, is something called content optimization. So how do you solve this whole invisibility thing? Well, to show you this isn't just theory, we're going to look at a real-world Canadian company that completely turned its business around by applying these exact principles. Okay, so let's talk about AMEQ Academy, an aesthetic school here in Canada. They rolled out a really focused content optimization strategy, and the first result was just, wow, a 340% increase in organic search traffic. That's more than quadrupling the number of people finding them through Google every single month. But traffic alone doesn't pay the bills. The real story is right here. They saw a staggering 520% growth in qualified lead generation. We're not talking about random visitors. These were potential students actively looking for the exact courses AMEQ was offering. And this one shows the impact on user experience. They got an 89% reduction in their bounce rate. What that means is people weren't just finding the site, they were sticking around, they were engaging with the content, and they were realizing, yep, this is exactly what I was looking for. So how in the world did they get these incredible results? Well, it all comes down to content optimization for SEO. You can just think of it as a methodical process of making your content attractive to both search engines and human readers. Yeah, it's about ranking higher, but even more importantly, it's about attracting the right people and turning them into customers. I love this analogy because it makes everything just click. Imagine Google is a giant library, and your content is a book on the shelf. Now, if your book has a clear title, a helpful table of contents, and really well-organized chapters, the librarian can instantly recommend it to the right person. That's exactly what optimization does. It makes your content super easy for Google to understand and recommend. Okay, so where do you even start? The absolute foundation, the bedrock of any successful strategy is keyword research. This is all about figuring out the exact words and phrases your potential customers are typing into that little search bar. Now, a really crucial point here is that this is not a popularity contest. Trying to rank for a massive term like marketing is pretty much impossible. But a focused agency could absolutely win for something like B2B content marketing for SaaS in Toronto. See the difference? It's about precision over volume. You want to attract visitors who are ready to buy, not just browse. And the best part? You don't need a bunch of expensive software to get started. Google Keyword Planner is fantastic for getting a sense of search volume, specifically in Canada. Google Search Console? Oh, this one's a goldmine. It literally shows you the keywords you already rank for, so you can just double down on what's working. And Answer the Public is brilliant for finding the actual questions people are asking, which gives you incredible ready-made ideas for content. So finding these keywords is actually a really straightforward process. First, just list the common questions your customers are already asking you. Those are pure gold. Then, map out their journey from their initial problem to their final purchase. Use Google's own auto-suggestions and definitely check that people also ask box. For Canadian businesses, always remember to include local variations like Calgary or Montreal. And finally, take a little peek at what's working for your competitors. Their success always leaves clues. All right, so once you know what people are searching for, it's time to create content that actually helps them. And the golden rule here is so simple. Write for humans first and for search engines second. Just look at the contrast here. The before is just stuffed with corporate jargon that sounds impressive but really says nothing at all. The after is clear, it's direct, and it speaks to a real human need. This is the shift you need to make. Just ditch the buzzwords and talk to your customers like they're actual people. So what does Google actually consider high-quality content? Well, it means your content is comprehensive. It covers the topic inside and out. It offers original insights, not just the same stuff rehashed from other sites. It's accurate, it's trustworthy, it uses visuals to help explain complex ideas, and this is critical. It keeps users engaged. They stay on the page instead of immediately bouncing back to the search results. So before you hit that publish button, just run through this quick checklist. Does your article thoroughly address the main topic? Does it include your own unique insights or examples? Is the information up to date? Is it structured with clear headings? And maybe most importantly, does it directly answer the user's question and give them a clear, actionable next step? Now, everything we've talked about so far is crucial for any business anywhere in the world. But for those of us operating in Canada, there's an extra layer. Embracing that local context isn't just a nice to have, it's your competitive advantage. And here's exactly why that matters. You've got to consider language, not just English and French, but Canadian spellings, like color with a U. Geographic targeting is huge. A guide to winter tire installation is going to be very different for Vancouver versus Halifax. You have to be mindful of local search behavior, like people searching for services near me in Ottawa. And, of course, you have to comply with Canadian regulations like our anti-spam laws. This local focus is how you win against the bigger, more generic competitors. So when it's all said and done, what's the big takeaway? Effective content optimization takes all that valuable knowledge that's kind of locked away in your business and it completely transforms it. Your expertise stops being invisible and becomes an invaluable asset that consistently brings the right customers right to your door. So we'll leave you with this one final thought. Just forget about keywords and algorithms for a second and think purely about your customer. What is the number one most pressing question they have that you are perfectly positioned to answer? Start there, because the best marketing always starts with being genuinely helpful.